I was reading a book earlier today that was bad, and it lies right here on my shelf. This was. This is not a good. This is Ironside. Ironside is not a good theologian. Everything else, pretty much, on my shelf is top tier, but Ironside is horrendous. He has got this overcomplicated theological approach to the scriptures. He has completely torn apart the book of Romans and put it back together so that he can fit. It's not good philosophy. This is where Christianity becomes philosophy. Dispensationalism, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a Noise fan. And that's the other thing about it. I think we think of it like religion as like a self-improvement, and then it's a self-empowerment thing. Like like our faith is like the reason we go to church and study the scriptures is so that we can be knowledgeable and be prosperous. And the reason that we go to church is so that we can be sophisticated and dignified. And it's the whole point is that we are all sinners and we're completely bad. And we have no hope except for the love that was shown on the cross. That should be the 100% the core of what is being taught. Some people overcomplicate it, and then some people overcomplicate it so that they can teach heresy. Anyway, I have three more releases. I know I went through all kinds of releases that I did last week, and I was saying then the month of January is just full of hitters from Not of the Flesh. Marax, Emily, I had the pleasure of making the disc for Marax. I told him, I said I would like to do one more Marax release. Is there anything that you're looking forward to doing? And it was interesting because this was about the time that the episode where I talked about learning about monolithic torment for the first time was a root cellar I was super excited about when I heard magnetic fields. Yeah, so I talked about that, and just the next day, or just when that was coming out, we agreed to put out Emily on Not of the Flesh. So this is an awesome release, and I am very excited to put it together, especially in reverence to Monolithic Torment, Emily. So hearing him talk about it made it added a lot of depth and layers to it. I'm really happy that I can do something, with that emotion that has been placed on me. Just learning about it. I want to be able to express it. It's not that I was involved. I'm just coming along later. Same group of friends. It calls for action. You want to do something when you're emotionally affected in that sort of way. Another Chris Brooks project. I could not stop talking about how great Dead Astronaut in Space was with the release. I saw Hell in the Bottle, and I asked him, and I've listened to a few things, TRRGR, I believe, no, TRGGR, or I think that's what it is, but he has a few, Chris Brooks has a few projects, and we were sort of talking and went through a few of the other things he had he had created, and they are just fantastic, and they all have these kind of cool covers like this. I like the kind of military, kind of comic booky theme that he has, but there's such such real life themes behind it. I couldn't think of, and the sound. He is such a magnificent, so tight, and so much texture in what he's doing in these compositions. It's just these releases just do not miss he has so much that he's done as well. So I would heavily encourage you to go ahead and listen to the Chris Brooks project. So we have doubles on all those. The Merak Sado Ritual split. He was getting author copies, so I made another 5, sent 10 author copies. Same thing with Chris Brooks. Same thing with Bile Ducks. Bile Ducks did the Writhing release that we had earlier. People have been grabbing that. I've only been putting out five releases of each thing, and I still have these yet to make. As you can see, I haven't put the CD in yet because I haven't burned these yet. Yeah, we are very, very blessed with many, many cool projects, and I have been very busy putting some of these out. I don't know if I have anything else to make except the Bile Ducks Power of Abuse this week. Um, but oh, and Sado Rituals I think has a new. I've been listening to so much stuff. He has a split with Pink Wool, but he has a great project that he's going to put out for Gates of Hypnos 1000. Gates of Hypnos is coming on, and this will have already happened when this comes out. It's a really, really phenomenal piece of music that he has ready for that. And yeah, I got the chance to listen to it. In fact, I've listened to so much stuff. 2 weeks ago, there was one week where I did several Noise with Ivans, so I didn't have to record any for a while. And I got so busy. I made all those CDRs, so that was a few days. And they had done a release of their, they, Sado Rituals and Ken Jameson, who is Hannah Haruna, and does Crepuscular Entity, did Crepuscular Rituals with Tremo. Now, I had seen a few of these Crepuscular Rituals releases, and I just always thought of Crepuscular Rituals as another artist. I was like, well, he's got the same name. But turns out later on, as I learned, I had the opportunity to mix that release, and I never did it. Um, I kind of dilly-dallied around. It had been like 3 days after I'd been asked to do it by Ptremo. This was right after I mixed his side for the Burial Garden split. It was such a scary thing at the time. I was producing for Alfredo Vogue. I was doing his album, and I had mixed for Sado Rituals, and I kind of wish that I had kept the mixing and producing kind of hat on. Um, I would like more opportunities to do it, but artists are not artists. They make for Harsh Noise Wall artists. They make their album in a day, so they're not going to wait for a week for somebody to do a mix on it. So when I get those mixing opportunities, I have to jump on them. But that's the thing, you know. So I was I hadn't realized that Crepuscular Rituals was Sado Rituals, and of course I did by then, but I didn't realize it was Hannah Haruna. Sakurajima by Hannah Haruna was massive for a long time. I don't know if it's still like top in the charts, but it's just an iconic cover, one that I had known, one that I had seen, and yeah, he is like a big deal as far as noise walls go. But I've come across a lot more stuff recently, and I've been listening to a lot more stuff recently just because of buying the Basement Corner Emissions like discography. I got to grab that discography, and it was $68. I did not want to spend $68. I never do, but it's absolutely worth it. I think the Gates of Hypnos one is only like 23 right now, maybe 28. I don't know. Yeah, there was another label. I had listened to a couple releases on it, and I saw that it was $53, which is again totally worth it. I was listening to Heartbreaker by Tap In Tap Out. That was one of them that I listened to off that label, and it was on Imploding. Imploding also has a lot of CDRs, so if you're someone who collects my CDRs, that might be a go-to. Which, yeah, and by the way, Not of the Flesh, tons of CDRs, mystery packs, Bile Ducks, Power of Abuse. It should be out by the time this comes out. We have a lot of big things going on, and I'm hoping for more Chris Brooks projects, but that might not necessarily be the case. Takashita and Juanito, I meant to mention. I listened to that split today, and the sounds on it were really great. The textures were phenomenal on Juanito and the Juanito Takashita split, but they were, I don't know, the transitions with chaotic harsh noise music. It was, I don't know. You always want it to be. You want to spend more time with this tone, and this really had a lot of, especially the Juanito side. There was so many phenomenal sounds in it but in a lot of the times when you hear those phenomenal sounds, you were like, well, let's stay here for a second. Let me appreciate this for a little while longer. But it's chaotic now. But if it's chaotic, it really has to be chaotic. I feel like, and it's a weird thing making that balance. Then when Tab in Tab Out Heartbreaker, it was harsh. It was very harsh. It was definitely a full band noise wall. It had a low end. The low end wasn't very strong. The like high mid range was strong, and but it was enough low end to where it rattles your head just a little bit. It wasn't one of I wouldn't put it in the ambient noise wall category. It was that harsh, but it wasn't that jarring. Some things are very very jarring, and sometimes there's like an extra push besides being a full band harsh noise wall that harsh noise walls have. It didn't have that. It was kind of general. And then if you're looking for ambient noise walls, the Shadow Piercer, Danshoku Dino split, very very good. So yeah, I was going through the Basement Corner Emissions side. I don't know how I got to Imploding, but I was looking through Imploding. Well, maybe because I was looking for Juanito releases to listen to, and came across Imploding because that split was on there. Yeah, the Basement Corner Emissions discography has been a big part of my listening recently, but mostly I've just been logging those on Rate Your Music, adding them all to my collection on there. It's kind of crazy to want to do that. I think I'm at 5,400 albums, and I have maybe 200 of them logged in Rate Your Music, and 90% of the stuff on the Basement Corner Emissions label is not already on there. So it's kind of cool to be able to, oh yeah, I get to put this on here. This wasn't on here previously. People can know about this release. But it takes a lot of time, and it has taken a lot of time. Past couple days, I've been trying to put 11 releases up because of the image queue. You can only do about 11 a day. So I've been doing 11 a day, and once I get past that, I'll do something else. I have a lot of recording to do. I really should be doing that today. It's already late. It's already so late. But it's good to get a Noise with Ivan released, and I know that I'm about to run out of them, so... Or get a Noise with Ivan recorded, anyhow. I intended to do the handwritten letters edition of... And I've been kind of driven to do that. Maybe why I'm so upset about the Ironside commentary. Heady. I'm very heady, but I'm also kind of hesitant with making artistic pieces and making the handwritten letters Noise with Ivan. I look forward to doing it, though, and I'm trying to not get too many projects going. You know, sometimes your computer can only hold like 2 or 3 30 minute to an hour videos, so I'm not trying to get too intense. Did want to talk about, because I was listening to, this was a long time ago, something that was incredibly underrated was the half round bastard release. Let me pull up exactly which one it was, but it was on the Nature Noise wall. It was on the Nature Noise wall label, and it was just fantastic. And it had a low rating. I don't know who the heck rated it, but We Do Not Belong Here by Half Round Bastard. So perfect. You cannot do better ambient noise wall. The whole idea with the Nature Noise wall label, I don't know if you know Whaler or Whaler, by Sergei Pakhomov. That release is on there. There's a noise wall artist called Bugcatcher. He has it's his label pretty much. The Nature Noise Wall is releases, usually Noise Wall releases. Yeah, Noise Wall releases that have field recordings that you utilize field recordings, and there are tons of different ways that it's done. This is so perfect. When I started listening to it, at first, it sounded like a field recording that, you know how you'll go out and get recordings, but the wind is crushing the microphone if you don't have a cover on it. That kind of thing. It just sounds like a clipping field recording, but just listen to it and enjoy it, okay? Moving on to the second and third tracks, though. So many layers, so perfect. Magnificent. That Half Round Bastard release was on the money. And I had also, when I was listening through those, I think Intersectorum by Bugcatcher. I think you can do better with Bugcatcher than that release. It's probably his biggest release. It's a huge deal. That's what you see, when you see Bugcatcher. But I don't know. It's really good. It's if you like ambient noise walls, you'll like it. But yeah, it's but it's definitive of him. If you're listening to Bugcatcher, it's like Intersectorum. But whatever. And then another release I listened to. I listed all the releases I listened to on that label, so I'll just get this done today. I'm kind of getting to a point where I only bring up 2 or 3 specific things that I listen to, because I'm listening to a lot. Gouger Rot Back Into the Earth. This was an incredibly low rating as well. That's why I checked some of the lowest rated things, because I thought, or on that label, because I thought that Half Round Bastard was preposterously underrated. That was such a good release. You don't get better ambient noise walls than that. There's really, really good. That's really, really good. Now I'm thinking about what ambient noise walls there are. And I forgot something else I'm thinking about. Talking about Angel Bruger has a side project called Beholden that I listened through those releases yesterday, I think it was. So good, crazy. Well, weird too. Not what I was expecting. Yeah, Beholden has it has those shoujo like clamp album covers. So it seems like it's gonna be nice ambient noise walls, and I would expect that from Angel, but horrendous. It's noise wall, it's ambient noise wall, yeah, and ambient music as well, which doesn't work the way that you would want it to work. And I notice that a lot of ambient music in the noise scene is that way. It's very unsettling. It's not they don't use major chords. Like for a Contrite Heart, I usually use major chords. I'm not understanding what the pursuit, like even Dungeon Synth is brighter than a lot of that stuff. So it's weird how common it is. But these Beholden releases were incredibly daunting, or haunting. Yeah, scary. You get like a nice, like everything's so charming and cutesy, and these just pretty album covers, and then you're listening to it, and it's horrific, especially the first one. The second one was nice. It was cool. It was scary still, but not as spooky as the first one. The first one was horrific. And then the third one was nicer. It was pretty nice. They have really long names, so I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to name off albums like I like to do. But yeah, I talked about too much stuff. Did I say Gouger, Rot Back Into the Earth? It was another one of the Nature Noise Wall releases. It was very general. I'm sorry to not be the one that I'm sorry after Half Round Bastard to not be the one that's saying this is genius. But it was just an ambient noise wall. What can you say? And it's weird when they have the metal logos, like the really cool logos, which I have been a fan of those type of noise artists recently. I feel like that label I mentioned earlier, Imploding, is pretty good about having those guys like Juanito and stuff. And Cultist Copy is one of those labels. Basement Chording Emissions maybe more so than Gates of Hypnos. Gates of Hypnos is so European. So European around here. Everything's dark ambient. No, I'm just kidding. I love dark ambient. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Please continue to listen to some of these artists. Check out my stuff here on. Yeah, check out Contrite Heart, but check out the the kind of big four albums of mine, and Back. Back is really good. Back is one of the albums that I can say you can listen to it on Spotify, you can listen to it on Bandcamp, you can listen to it on CDR, you can listen to it on Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, whatever you want to listen to it on, Amazon, YouTube. And yeah, YouTube may be the best place to listen to my music, just right here on this channel. So I would love and appreciate the support. I also really love and appreciate all the support that Not of the Flesh has had lately. Thank you so much to you guys. You know who you are. It felt like so long that we would put out a release and put out a release and put out a release and put a ton of work into these releases, and it was just nothing. No one bought them for a long time. We would sell one or two here and there, and it's a massive pleasure when I get a release and I get to share, or I get an order and I get to share these releases with you guys. It uplifts my spirits, uplifts the artist's spirits, and it's what's keeping the label going. We would not be doing more releases. I would not have done a lot of the stuff that I'm doing without you guys ordering like you have been. So thank you so much. Let's all be a nice, happy family. Godspeed. Much love.